Hey everybody, it's Rick Trummer from Rick Trummer Consulting and Training, and welcome to another day with another video. It's Wednesday, and we've been working on blending options. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to create a couple pretty cool things. What I've done here is I've taken a background, kind of a cool background that we have. Again, you can check our site out for a lot of different backgrounds and textures that we have. But what we're going to do is we're going to create kind of a unique effect using blending options. And I'm going to show you how to define a pattern and load these patterns into Photoshop so that you can reuse them and stuff. What I've got here is, again, I've got my background that I just grabbed from one of our many backgrounds that we have. And I dropped it in and I just put some wording in the front, just blending options here, so that we can take a look at it. Now, what I've got is I've got another one of the backgrounds that I have here that I opened up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this around a little bit so it's a little bit different. So I'm going to rotate the image here, and we're going to go counterclockwise. So it's going in the opposite direction. And let's just lighten it up just a tidge. So I'm just going to go into curves right now. Just lighten this up just a tidge, maybe create a little different blending availability there. Once I did that, I'm just going to layer it down by doing Command or Control E to merge layer down, and that's, again, if you're Mac or PC. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to define this as a pattern. So if you go under the Edit area, we're going to define pattern. What this will do is it's going to ask for us to create a name for it. So I came in here. I'm just going to call this Earth Tones in Motion, and I'm going to hit Save. What it's going to do is it's going to save it in the blending or in the patterns area so that I can reuse it. At this point, I can go ahead and close this down. I'm just going to hit Don't Save. I don't want to save the options from here. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm now going to be using this as an option. So I'm going to double click on my blending options, and I'm going to go into pattern overlay, and I'm going to select my pattern, which is right here at the end. So I've got, there it is. At this point, what I can do is scale it up and use different blending options to kind of go with it. So of course, multiply makes everything black. I can go into options, overlay, and soft light. You might want to try. Again, it's depending on what you're trying to get out of the actual image itself. Let's try using multiply. Doesn't give me exactly what I'm looking for here. Let's try some other stuff at the bottom. There we go. We're starting to do some different stuff here. And again, you can just go through and figure out what blending option is going to be working best for you. Let's go to normal. That's kind of a cool blending, a good blending option for what we're doing here. And then let's go in with a percentage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this up in size a little bit. And the cool thing about this is you can move the background layer. You can move it in and out based on when you're in this area. At the same time, let's add a drop shadow. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep it into a drop shadow mode. Again, if you click and hold, you can now grab this while you're in drop shadow. Let's put a cool drop shadow on here. And let's just spread it out just a little bit. And blend it down a little bit. So now what I'm doing is I'm using the pattern overlay that I've created, putting it inside. Let's go with a real thin stroke around there and use a bevel and emboss as well to be able to really set this apart. So all of these things we can do by just clicking into the area, and then we can change the bevel and emboss based on coming over to the actual image and moving it around with the hand tool. Once you're done, we can just click OK. So what we can do is create a pretty cool different mask or whatever using blending options and creating a very, very cool pattern, which you can do by just defining the pattern and loading it in inside that area, and now you have a new pattern that can be used in any of the areas inside Photoshop. So again, hopefully you've enjoyed this small segment on blending options. This is video number 5. We're going to come back tomorrow with our last video in the blending options area. And hopefully you've enjoyed this series on blending option. Next week, we're going to be coming back with some pretty cool stuff. And it's so exciting, I don't want to announce it right now. But thanks for watching. Again, I'm Rick Trummer from Rick Trummer Consulting and Training. And have a great one.